My name's Seaton. I'm 33 years old. I'm from Manchester. Who I was before I became the person I am now, I was very much into weights and training, and my life was just about the gym. I originally wanted to join the fire service, but there wasn't a muscle to my body. I wanted to put some strength on, so I joined my local gym in Stockport. A lot of drinking alcohol, a lot of drugs, a lot of partying, a lot of training for vanity, which was actually covering up my insecurities or acceptance of who I was. You know, growing up in Stockport, atheistic, no sense of God or connection to life itself, other than my own musings or questions about space and the universe. There's no way to sort of nurture that, or even know there's something there to be nurtured, until embarking on an experience that hit me and thought, that is where I've got to go. And I noticed along the path of this, the physical changes that occurred, it was also affecting me emotionally. How I was thinking started to change, and the way I saw the world changed. And I eventually got to the point where I realised I couldn't join the fire service because I was colourblind. And as that path started to develop, it took me into psychology, understanding the mind. Along that path eventually took me into meditation, and that was around the age of 24, 25, which took me towards spirituality. When I was going through a change that wasn't received in a positive light, so what are you doing that for? You know, why you stop eating meat? Why aren't you training as much anymore? Why don't you come out and drink anymore? And the drinking was probably the biggest thing really at say 24, 25, stopping drinking. And I would still go out, and I swapped alcohol at first for like Red Bulls and sugary drinks, you know, that would keep me very fueled up. And maybe I only did that 3 or 4 times, recognizing I don't want to be in these environments anymore. I don't want to be out and in nightclubs, and that was quite a big change, because that was all life was. But I was fortunate enough to have quite pure connections with some other people in these transformations in circles. So there were people that I was supported by who were kind of a bit ahead in the journey, or they understand connection a little bit more than I do to where they want their life to go. So now that I'm a breathwork and meditation teacher, the reason I do it mainly, and breathwork being the predominant part of my work, is because of the changes I felt myself go through, and the power of that experience tied into some of the more powerful experiences that I had tried over the years, be that through meditations or using plant medicines, different kind of energetical practices, or learning to calm the mind. I saw through breathwork, I accessed a lot of these modalities just by breathing, and it transformed everything. It even transformed how I learned to meditate, by seeing that the breath has so much control over the mind and the body. What can come with the breath is a deeper understanding of the unconsciousness, but also quite profound spiritual or emotional experiences. And recognizing that we can access deeper levels of the emotion was literally moving in an emotional sense, but also for changing my frame of the world. Which then led me to question, well, why do I lock certain emotions away when all emotion is fine? It doesn't need a label or have to be represented by somebody else or what already exists in the world. It can just be its own creative, artistic expression in its natural form. So taking that awareness deeper into breathwork and just allowing myself to completely express, which could be cries, it could be laughter, it could be anger, whatever it is in that form, was so freeing and healing at the same time, because that emotion would come through and you're no longer holding on to it. The mind and the body are so interlinked, as are the emotions and our spirituality as well. All of this, you know, where we are, what's the word? We are holistic, and we have these different elements that go to us. And fortunate having the experience of getting into personal training and being just solely focused on the physical nutrition, and then getting into the mental state through meditation, which also brought in spirituality as I was studying Buddhism and different religions and traditions, and then seeing the connection of the spirituality, how that tied into my emotions, how I would feel, and how my physical body, if I feel great from training, well, that's affected my emotions, and my emotions are affecting my mental state. And again, the loop just continues. I practice a lot with martial arts, bow staffs, nunchucks, and the fire energy from anger goes into, you know, such lovely flows at time, and it brings a level of confidence and power. And sadness can bring out some great poetry, and it's once we remove the labels of the emotions that the mind has put on, it has such a great effect on our outlook. That will in turn affect the body. So very simple practices to do in the morning, which can help change your state, is alternate nostril breathing to start. I'd recommend 6 minutes if you can, 3 minutes, 4 minutes if you can't. I say if you can or can't, it's how much time we choose to give ourselves to improve our health and awareness. Start with comfortability, maybe go for 5, maybe go for 10. And as you start to feel, oh, I quite like this, and I wonder what happens if I go a little bit longer, because it does need that time frame to develop and grow. And you just witness the thoughts slow down and feel the benefits of just being in your natural state and not living in the dialogue of the mind or the scripts that we run through again and again, finding what that space and freedom is, which gives us our access to our nature just through very simple means. Nothing needs to be learned from a book, from a guru, from a teacher. It's literally all within us. Just by healthy eating and taking care of yourself in whatever way feels right, I believe and have experienced and witnessed within clients, that will take you to where you're supposed to be going. It's very difficult to sit down and meditate if your body's like really stiff, or you've just eaten, or you eat bad foods, because this affects the mind as well, the quality of thoughts. It also affects our emotions, and spending years looking at different diets, different nutrition plans, looking at Ayurvedic plans, all these different fasting, so many different ways to go in. But what I've found is the more you purify yourself in the sense of cleanliness, physicality, clean food, what we consume from diet being again what we're watching on TV, the conversations we have with friends, the books we choose to read, starts to accumulate and form our view on life. So the more we cleanse things from a natural way, healthy body, healthy food, healthy mind, you will start to uncover what you want to be in life. I think society is so disconnected because of the lifestyle that we have been given from the past, which again, the past is just what humanity has brought, what mankind has come through. So it can't be judged on any specific people, or they were doing this, or life's that way because my parents were that way and they were that way because their parents were that way, etc., because that can go on forever. We are where we are now, and we have to make these changes that we have in society and life to open it up to a deeper level of connection, which means we have to recognize where we're not fulfilled. And there's so many of us that don't recognize what our happiness is because of the system that we have through schooling, and again from what the knowledge our parents had and our peers had, and the job system and the 9 to 5, which has then fueled all these ambitions that are quite about, well, I need this job, or I need X amount of money, or I need to get a certain title, and then I need a house, and then I need a family, and then I need kids, and then I need to have money to retire, and then I'm done, and it's like, is that actual life? These are just things. And when we see that we're living in a system, it's something given to us because it's come from the outside. To recognize that what you presume is what you want actually isn't, takes awareness to go, is this what I want to do? And you'll even see it in the spiritual circles. Now it's, oh, I'm doing yoga. Why are you doing yoga? Oh, it's just because what you do. And if you're in a spiritual circle, I'm like, but it doesn't have to be. Does it feel right? Great, you've tried these things, but is it the right expression and modality to you? Perhaps there'll be another form of exercise that would make you feel more connected, such as climbing or boxing or whatever it is. It's seeing where your connection is and realizing that spiritual thread weaves through wherever you are when you are connected. And when you become connected and spiritual, I think your awareness of life around you can only be of benefit because you understand that connection is in everything. That relationship is in how you view everything, how you interact with everything. And that has been so distorted because, again, the society that we've created is like, no, it's you against the world. You live in this little box and you live in this town, or even if you're out in the country or the farms, that's all you know, rather than an expanded perspective. But if you are doing things joyfully that come from a true sense, you can be within that system, but using the energy of life's good, life's all connected, and it's not coming from a negative frame of, oh, I'm doing this and I don't want to, or I'm trying to get to the next thing, because tomorrow literally never comes. So to access where your truth is at the forefront for all of us, I think, to make profound changes in the world, to change society, because society is based on our choices, where we spend our money, how we behave, substances that we're taking, the food that we eat, all of that feeling that we feel will be represented in society. So we can shape that to something more beneficial for everybody by looking at what our authenticity is, what makes us happy, how do I learn to access that. I would definitely like to see mindfulness and meditation being brought to mainstream in a sincere way, to being taught why these practices are there. I do have a major love for the spiritual aspects, and I do believe thoroughly in a spiritual connection to life, but but it doesn't have to come in through that way. Just what's great with like these Silicon Valley sort of methods and the Headspace apps, and it's so acceptable now for anybody to go, oh, I'm stressed. So the awareness of meditation and breath work, to know you can literally hack your system just by how you're breathing and thinking, it will change your whole physical approach in the body, and it will change how you see things. You don't need anything external, just maybe the guide to get going and to understand these things. But when you've grasped it and you know that, just in the morning, sit, silence, or have some nice music on to bring a serene feeling in, and then do it again before bed, or just alternate nostril breathing for 5 minutes will have such a powerful effect. I would love to see these things pushed in the world, because they will guide people in to that sense of, well, if I'm calmer, that individual becomes calmer and you make better choices. The world itself will make better choices, because the world truly is the reflection of where we're at. The pain, the suffering, the anger, the isolation, the borders, this is mine, that's yours, all of that viewpoint, it's coming from the world. The social structures we have are built from the inside out. So everything, the way that we've got things are based on us. And Gandhi's quote, "Be the change that you wish to be in the world," is so true. We have to change internally for the external to change. My name is Craig Seaton, and this is my voice.